Sometimes we think backyard projects have to be big, expensive, or finished all at once, but that couldn't be further from the truth. I hope this video will encourage you to invest a little time and love into your outdoor space, even if you're still figuring it all out. Welcome, friend. I'm so glad that you're here. This end of our yard has gone through a major change, and right now it looks a mess. I used to have a U-shaped garden here with a walkway, and I've reduced it down to one garden bed and reused the bricks to extend the walkway and create two new flower beds. The new bed along the house will eventually fill itself with elephant ears and other perennials we've been cutting back. And I added this section on the end last year. I've just been adding plants a little bit at a time. Now it's in desperate need of a clean out, and I'll show you more about that later. But for now, we need to get these flowers in the ground. Maybe the birds will sing about you. The dirt in this area is very rich because of the previous garden that we had here. But I've decided to go ahead and add some Miracle-Gro potting soil to the dirt. And I'm going to mix it all together and turn the soil over to create a good foundation for the flowers. Now that I have the soil ready, I'm just going to position the flowers throughout the flower bed evenly. You fill my head with roses. I can't help but dream away. Okay, now that I'm satisfied with how that looks, I'm going to go ahead and start digging the holes and placing the flowers in the ground. Filled with you and flowers everywhere. Now in this video, I'm going to share with you what we've done in our backyard so far. From these flower beds to tomatoes to cozying up the porch. And I'd love for you to come along and share your ideas too. But the main takeaway is for you to know that you don't have to have a plan for everything before you get started. Just start with what brings you peace and build from there. Let your backyard grow slowly with you over time. I have always planted marigolds near and around my vegetable garden because they attract bees, which is a big help to the garden. Okay, now that we have the marigolds taken care of, I have these flower pots that I also want to put some plants in. And yes, I know they look terrible. I need to come back and paint these, but I just didn't have the time, and due to a lot of rainy weather, I haven't been able to paint them before I get these flowers in there. But if I don't get the flowers planted, they're gonna die. So I'll have to come back with a paintbrush or some other solution for the flower pots at a later time. Believe it or not, these flower pots are over 50 years old. Well, I guess based on what they look like, it may not be that hard to believe, but I remember these flower pots being on my mom's front porch whenever I was a toddler, and that was in West Virginia. These pots have made it all the way across the United States and landed right here in my Texas backyard. And although I think you can still buy these exact concrete flower pots over at Lowe's, I'm going to continue to paint them and hold on to them for as long as I possibly can. Okay, now we're going to move over to the porch where I have my tower garden. I've had this for a couple years and I've tried to grow various things in here and I haven't had any luck. Surprise, surprise. So now I am going to try succulents. Now I believe succulents may be something that I can have some luck with. Something else that I love to do in my backyard and throughout the gardens is to add little surprises that aren't necessarily plants. Some examples would be the stepping stones, little statues, flags, And a surprise fairy garden here and there makes everything so much more fun. I just want to take a second to thank you so much for being here. Your support for this channel is so appreciated. And if you're new here, my name is Luann, and I am so happy that you stopped by. If you enjoyed today's video, I hope you'll give it a big thumbs up, and be sure to introduce yourself down below in the comments. Thanks again, friends. Here's the next succulent that I'll be planting, and I always try to share the names for those of you that actually know what you're doing in the garden. Planting these succulents in the tower garden is another example of growing with your garden. I'm not going to fill every single slot in this tower with a succulent because I know these spread fast and easily. This one here, you break off the little babies that grow on these shoots and they'll form a whole new plant. So I should be able to fill this tower in no time. Now this next succulent that I'm going to be planting brings back another memory of my mom. I can remember when I was little, her and her friends had whiskey barrels. They would drill a hole in the side of them and plant their chickens. Well, guess what I found at H-E-B? The hen and chicks. These are collectibles. They come in different varieties. This one is the golden nugget. Back in the day, the women would buy all the different varieties and then they would swap or trade the little chicks. And of course, the goal would be to have all the varieties covering your barrel. Here's an example of some of the different varieties. I'm really happy to have my own collection started, and hopefully I can find a few friends that are willing to start their own so that we can start trading. Okay, now that we have everything planted, let's get started on decorating the porch a little bit. I've already sprayed everything off. I brought out my summer rug that I had stored away, and I didn't get to film that because it was late the Saturday night before Easter that I decided to come out and do it all, and I just had to hurry up and get it done. The first thing you're going to notice is that the all-purpose cleaner I used took the color off of my tablecloth, but I do have another one in the mail. The first item that I'm going to use to decorate is this battery-operated lantern. You may have seen it in my 5-store haul, and this $5 wreath from Dollar General. Just as simple as that, now our table is decorated. Now I'm going to move to this back corner. I'm going to place a table and one of my ferns to fill in this area.
Rainbow trout and hummingbird wing. Golden, I'll follow me golden.
I have 3 ferns to use out here, and I actually bought them the same time that I did my front porch makeover. So between then and now, the wind has been terrible here in South Texas, and these ferns have really taken a beating. So I'm trying to position it in a way that it can start hopefully repairing itself. Now hanging these ferns over here on these hooks is kind of comical. I cut out a lot of it, but you'll see here as I hang the second one, I didn't edit out as much. I couldn't see that hook at all, no matter how I turned. But after about 10 tries, I finally got her on there. Okay, now on to my rocking chairs. These are actually metal rocking chairs. I had some wooden ones, but of course over time they rotted, and these seem to be lasting a lot longer, even though I am starting to see some signs of rust. Here is a planter. Again, this is from the Dollar General. I've had it for about 3 or 4 years, and right now I don't have it hung, but I'm not going to cut the little strings off just yet. And this is just a citronella candle I've also had for a couple years. And we got to keep the baby's bubbles out here too, of course. Okay, so now the porch is cleaned and presentable. All of my flowers are in the ground or in a pot. Now let's take a look at what we still need to do. We need to get some grass growing in this bare patch. We're going to say a little prayer for all of the flowers and hope that they hang in there for the long haul. And I need to get those flower pots painted. I would like to add some red mulch to my marigold flower bed and maybe some kind of mulch here in the garden. The tomatoes are actually doing really good. We have a lot of blooms on all of the plants, and on a few we actually have some tomatoes growing. All of the tomatoes in the bed are larger tomatoes, and then these along the side fence are the smaller type tomatoes called patio tomatoes. And they're doing pretty good too. We do have this one pepper plant, and I'm starting to think someone switched the ticket because these were supposed to be orange bell peppers, but this is really starting to look like a jalapeno to me. Now over in this far corner, don't pay any attention to the little stacking thing I've got going on here. I'm just trying to come up with some different ideas. Like I said, this is all a work in progress. But on top is my blueberry bush. And then I do have my perennial plants starting to come up again, and that's exciting because my goal is that by the end of this summer, they'll fill in that whole new space down the side of the house. Here's another spot where the elephant ears are coming up, and this is a closer look at what a mess we've got going on in here with all the leaves and the pollen buds, but that will be on another day that I'll get all of these beds cleaned out. You can see here even my little stepping stones have gotten covered up and everything's still just a mess, but we can't do it all in a day, and I don't want to do it all in a day. I enjoy coming out here just a little bit at a time and working on different things and just watching everything come together throughout the whole season. Now this shed is a project all on its own. It's mine to do whatever I want with, and I just can't make up my mind. It has so much potential, and I would love to hear your ideas. Please help me out down below in the comments. That is my back flower bed, and up close it's in just as bad a shape as the one I just showed you. I have pulled some weeds out of there. And next we have our fire pit area. Jason and I put this in last year, and if you would like to see the DIY video on that one, I will post it at the end of this video as well as down below in the comments. And if you'd like to know where all my eggs come from, this is it. This is our coop dominium, and that also will be a video all in itself. And here where I'm standing is where our above ground pool is usually setting, but we're going to have to replace it this year after I get some trees trimmed. This is the little paver walkway that I put in that leads up to the pool ladder. And that brings us back to the porch. This space might not be finished, but it's already full of purpose and peace. So if you take anything away from today's video, I hope that you realize that it doesn't take a big budget to create a backyard you love. Just a little heart and a few hours here and there. Hey, if you don't have time to stick around for this next video, thanks again for being here, and don't forget to leave a comment down below sharing your ideas of how I can use that shed. I really truly enjoyed spending time with you here today, so if you can, let's head on over to this next video to see how you can create a DIY fire pit in your backyard in just one afternoon.